Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is YAHMAD. Today we're going to be looking at paper 2 from the Information and Communication Technology IGCSE course code 0417. So we're looking at a new November 2018 paper. Paper 2 is a practical paper which includes document production, data manipulation, which is databases, and presentations. So in total it's 2 hours and 30 minutes long. Okay, so let's scroll down to the next page. So we have an overview here at the top. So you work for a company and we're basically going to be performing some clerical tasks for this company. The first task is the evidence document. So what we need to do is open up this file. So n2118evidence.rtf. So let's go to our source folder. Let's open up the file. So it's in an RTF format right now. And what we need to do is to insert your name, center number and candidate number onto every page in this document. So we can include this into the header. So it's not being specific or as a header and footer, but let's just include it in the header. So to insert a header, you click on insert, click down on header, and I always go with the option that gives you 3 columns. So let's include my name, center number 5678, and then my candidate number 1234. So obviously in the exam you'll have to use the details given to you. Save this evidence document into your work area as N218 evidence followed by your candidate number. So I need to include 1234 after the file name. Okay, so make sure when you're saving this document you save it as a Word document, so not as an RTF. We're going to save it as a Word document. We're going to make sure we save it into the same folder, so November 2018, and let's include my candidate number at the end. Okay, so you will need to place screenshots and answers to questions in this evidence document. Right, so let's scroll down. So now we're going to be starting task 2, which is the document production part. So we're basically going to be editing an information sheet for this company here. The company uses a corporate house styles for all their documents. Paragraph styles should be created and applied as instructed. So if I just scroll down, you'll see we have some text styles which we'll have to create and apply eventually to our document. But before we do that, let's open up the file. So using a suitable software package, open a file n218history.rtf. Okay, so we'll go to my source folder. This is a file which we need to open up, so let's double click. Okay, the page setup is set up to A4 landscape orientation with margins of 2 centimeters. You don't need to make any changes to these settings. So let's see the next bullet point. Save the document into your work area with the file name mining. Okay, so let's just copy this. File, save as, click on here, save it as a Word document, and then we'll save it as mining. Save. Okay, so make sure it's saved in the format of the software you're using. So that's basically what that means is you're saving it as a Word document file. Okay, so not as an RTF file. Right, so let's highlight all of these. The first print screen is evidence 1. Place in your evidence document a screenshot to show the file has been saved. Make sure there's evidence of the file type. So if I go to my folder, this is the file, and if I open this up we can see the file type as well, so saved as a Microsoft Word document. Let's take the print screen, and if I go to my evidence document, let's paste the print screen. Make sure it's really clear, so at this moment in time I can't really see until I crop off elements that I don't need and then resize the file. I'm just going to include the file path at the top, and let's increase the size. So we've got the file path, and also we've got the file and the file name, or the file name and the file type over here. Let's press save. Okay, question 2. Remove any preset page breaks in the document. So if I go to my document here, let me just scroll down to the next page. So you can see on the next page we have some information, and then again we have information on the third page. So there seems to be a break, so the page must finish at this point, and then it goes on to the next page. Now to get rid of any preset page breaks in a document, what you need to do is click on this icon up here. So this basically shows paragraph marks and other hidden formatting symbols. So let's click on here, and this shows that we have a page break. So what we're going to do is basically click just before this page break, and I'm going to press delete on my keyboard. Okay, so we've removed that page break. Let me just put the space in. Actually, I don't need to put space in. And let's go down, and I'm just checking to see if there's any more page breaks. I think that was the only one. Actually, we got one here as well. So if I click just before, and if I press the delete button on my keyboard, it gets rid of that page break basically. So I'm just looking to see if there's any more. I think that was it. So we can again click off this icon. Okay, so we basically got rid of the page break. So now you can see the text basically flows from one page to another page. It's not split. Right, okay, so that was quite straightforward. Place your name, center number and candidate number right aligned in the header. So we've got nothing else in the header, we just need to include your name, center number and candidate number right aligned. So to insert your header, you can go to insert, header, again go to 3 columns. Let's first of all insert my name, the candidate number, the center number, and then the candidate number. So let me double check, was it candidate number first? Oh sorry, no, it's your name and then your center number. So for this example I'm using 5, 6, 7, 8 as my center number, and then my candidate number I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, I've done that right. I don't need to show these options on the left and in the center. Let's close the header and footer. Let's go to the top. Yep, you can see my header and footer on both pages. In the footer, what we need to do is insert automated page numbers left aligned and automated file name and file path right aligned. So if I go to insert footer, again go for 3 columns. On the left hand side we need to include the page numbers. Okay, so what we do, we click on this placeholder on the left hand side, we go to page numbers and we want to insert it in the current position. And then on the right hand side, the file name and the file path right aligned. So if I click here, I don't need the center one first of all, let's get rid of this one. To insert the file name and file path, you need to make sure you can see the design option or window. Go to quick parts, go to field and scroll down to file name, and we also want to include the file path. Okay, so as you can see we've got the file name and then the file path. It doesn't really matter if it comes onto the next page as long as it's aligned from the right hand side. Let's close the header and footer. So this is all done. So make sure that all of the alignments match the page margins. No other text or placeholders are included in the header and footer areas. Headers and footers are displayed on all pages. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to print preview. So if you go to file print, you can see the name, center number and candidate numbers on the top right. And if I check the other page, you can see the same details appears on the top right. We've got the page number in the bottom left and a file name and file path aligned from the right. So it doesn't really matter if it comes down onto the next page because it's still aligned to the right. And there's no other placeholders. I've deleted the left and center placeholder for the header and the center placeholder for the footer. Right, let's save the changes. Okay. Question 4. Now we're going to create and store the following styles basing each on a default paragraph style. Okay. Right. So to create a new style, first of all, we need to click underneath styles. There's an icon or little button here. which opens up this window here. To create a new style, you need to click on this icon here, so the A and the plus, and let's have a look. Okay, and we're going to base it on the, if I go back to the question paper, on the default paragraph style. So let's just make sure this is selected at all time. Okay, so the first style is going to be called THM, capital THM dash title. So make sure you copy this in exactly as it appears in the question paper. The font will be serif, so we can use Times New Roman. The font size will be 36. So Times New Roman for serif. The font size is 36. The alignment is right, and the enhancement is bold. So right side, let's make the text bold. Single line spacing, no space before, no space after. So yep, we've got a single line spacing. So here we got a 1.5 line spacing and then a double line spacing. So obviously we want to include the single line spacing. Let's press OK. So it doesn't really matter at this point if text is changing. So let's just carry on and make the next style. So if we click on the plus, the next style is for the subtitles. So let me copy this name in. Okay, just make sure paragraph is selected here. Right, so again it's going to be Times New Roman. This time the size of the font will be 18. So 18, we can keep Times New Roman. Alignment is left and the enhancements is underlined. So let's take the bold off. It's going to be underlined and the alignment will be on the left hand side. Single line spacing, no space before, no space after. So yep, I'm happy with that. Let's press OK. So that's the second style created. We just highlight that. Now we're going to be creating a subhead style. So let me highlight this text here. This time it's going to be a sans serif font, so we can use Arial. So let's copy the name in. We want to go for sans serif font, so let's go for Arial. The size of the font will be 16 and the text will be center aligned. Okay. The enhancements are underline and italic. So we can keep underline and we can make the text also italic. So just check the preview to see if the text is changing according to your formatting. And we've got single line spacing and then 6 points after each line. Okay, so to add any spaces after the line, you need to go to Format, Paragraph. So after each line, we want 6 points. So as you can see, if I press OK, there will be an automatic space after each line or paragraph. Okay, so next text style we have to create is a body. So this is for the main text. Again, click on the plus icon, A plus icon. Type the name of the next style, which is body. It's going to be a serif font, so we can go for Times New Roman, and the size of the font will be 11. So for serif, we can select Times New Roman. The alignment will be justified. There will be no enhancements, so let's take any enhancements off. The text will be justified. If you don't see a justified option here, you can always go to Format, Paragraph, and select Justified from this option menu here. And what else do we need to do? Single line spacing and then a 12 space after each paragraph. So if you go to Format, Paragraph, we don't want a 6-point space, we want a 12-point space instead. Okay, so times, let me double check, serif 11 justified, yep. And finally, we're going to create the table style. So this could be applied for text within a table. Let's press OK. Let's create the last style. Copy the name in. Again, it's going to be serif. It's going to be 11. This time the font will be center aligned. No enhancements. Okay. Single line spacing and no spacing after. So let's remove any spacing after. So obviously if you see the preview, you can see there's a space after from the previous style that we created. So we go to paragraph, we can get rid of the space after. Let's press OK. So for evidence to take a screenshot to show the style settings have been defined for the subhead paragraph style, place this into your evidence document. So the subhead style was the first style, which had 6 point space after. So what we need to do is right click. We need to modify this to get this option back open. Let's go to Format, Paragraph, and let's get this window open as well. And let's take a print screen of both of these windows. Press OK now. For evidence 2, we can paste in a print screen. And obviously, you want to crop off anything that's not necessary. And then resize so it's really clear. Yep, I can see the information here. So the font style is sans serif, it's Arial. Let me double check. Yep, 16, center aligned, italic and underlined. Yep, underline and italic, and then we've got 6 point space after. Let's save the changes here. Okay. Next question is display these custom style names as a list in a style manager. Provide a screenshot evidence that these styles have been created, named and saved. Okay, so basically for evidence 3, we have to take a print screen of this window here to show the styles have been created. Okay, so let me just take a print screen. Just paste. Let's crop off anything that we don't need. So let's increase the size. So obviously, let's just move this down to the next page. Control Enter. So this is evidence that we've created the styles. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different styles that we've created. So let's save the changes. Hey, what's happened there? So let's change it back to normal view. Okay. Right, at the start, now we're on question 6. At the start of the document, enter the title. Okay, so let's just copy and paste this. So let's see if I can attach that to the side. So at the start, let's just click before report, press enter, click above it, and let's paste in the title. Obviously you'd have to type in the title, so make sure you type it in. Make sure if there's capital letters you type it in exactly without making mistakes, and using capital letters if necessary. Apply the title style to this text. Okay, so if I highlight this and then we can click on title. So just let me double check. It should be right aligned. It should be a serif font, 36 bold. Yep, that looks right to me. Enter your name immediately after the subtitle, report produced by, and then apply the subtitle style to this text. So that's basically the second line. So let's include my name. And then what you want to do is highlight the text and you want to apply subtitle. So again, it's the serif font, left aligned and underlined. So let me double check. Yep, serif 18, left aligned, underlined. Okay. Now what we need to do for question 8 is apply the body text to the rest of the document. So if I highlight all of the text, now what I'm going to do first of all is clear any formatting, and then I'm going to apply body, because what's happened in the past is sometimes I've clicked on body and one of the paragraphs haven't changed. So what you need to do at this point is just have a look at all of the text to see if the formatting has been applied to all of the information that you can see. Yep, I'm happy with that. So let's just save the changes. Change the layout, or change the page layout so the subheading Terraria mining and all of the following text is displayed in 2 equally spaced columns with 2 centimeters spacing between the columns. So let's find a subheading first of all. Yeah, here's a subheading. So what do we need to do? It's basically we have to include the subheading so that the subheading and all the following text is displayed in 2 equally spaced columns. Okay, so if I highlight all of the text from the subheading, including the subheading. We need to format it into two equally spaced columns with a 2 centimeter gap between the columns. So if I go to layout, columns, more columns, if I click on 2, and then what you want is a 2 centimeter gap between the columns. So let's just increase the gap. So that's basically the gap in between the columns. Let's press OK. Yep, I'm happy with that. So far so good. Okay, we can just highlight this. Okay, just before we move on, let's just save our work. Okay, so let's have a look at the next question. So format the country items from Russia iron to China gold to be a bulleted list with square bullets. So let's try and find this information. So I think it's going to be fairly obvious to find. Okay, so Russian iron to China gold. We need to highlight this text and we need to format it to squared bullet, to a bulleted list to include squares. Okay. Yeah, so to a bulleted list with squares. That's that done. Okay. So format this list so the bullet points are indented 1.5 centimeters from the left margin with no space after each line. So first of all, let's remove the spacing. So if I right click here, we can remove the spacing after each of the lines. We can put a space after the last bullet point. And then what we want to do is to indent this so it's 1.5 centimeters from the left margin. So if I click on this icon here, and the indentation will be 1.5 centimeters. So you can see the list is changing down here. So if I just decrease it, you can see it's going backwards. Obviously we want to show 1.5 centimeters. Let's click OK. That's that done now. So question 12, identify the 7 subheadings in the document and apply the subhead style to each one. So let's find the 7 subheadings. So we've got the first one. If I press Control, we can format these at the same time. So that's 3. Let's just click on subhead. Is it subhead? Yep, subhead. So that's 3. So there should be, let me just double check before we move forward. There should be center aligned, sans serif 16. Yep, it looks like a sans serif font. So 16 is center aligned. Let me just right click and double check. Yeah, there's no bold. That's fine. Right, so that's 3. Let's find. Okay, that's one of them. So that's the 4th one. Subhead. Okay, so let's scroll down. Let's get the next one. So future, and then if we press Control, we can do these last 2 at the same time. So we've now applied the subhead style to 7 subheadings. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. So for question 13, open a file n218 pricelist.csv and insert the contents as a table after the text current metal prices are as follows. So let me just first of all find, if I use a find tool, where we're meant to place a table. So we're meant to place the table, I think, after this text. So open a file and insert the contents as a table after the text. So let's first of all just press enter. So we're going to be inserting a table here. So what file do we need to open up? It's the price list file. So let's go to our document. So yep, it's going to be a CSV file, which is this file here. So comma separated values. Let's double click to open. Basically what we're going to have to do is copy and paste the elements, the content from here basically. So open a file and insert the contents as a table. Right. So let's copy and paste. So if I highlight the table, copy. and let's paste. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. I always go for the second option, so use destination styles. If the table, let me get rid of, I should leave that for now. If the table comes onto two columns for now, let's just leave it. Let's just see what the next question is going to ask us to do. So I've copied the contents, delete the column with the heading year 2000 price per kg. So I'm going to zoom out slightly so I can see what I'm looking at. So we need to delete basically this column here. So if I highlight, what I'm going to do, just to help me out, let's just put a table onto one page for now. Let's press enter, and I want to delete this column here. Okay, so if I highlight it, then we can click on the delete option here. So delete column. Okay, so we got rid of that column. Insert a new row at the end of the table and enter the following text. So again, if I click on the table, we can use this window here to insert a new row. Let's just click at the end actually. Just double click again on the table, insert below, so new row. And then what we need to do is add this information to the table. So again, enter it exactly as it appears. Okay. So the price ton is going to be 1,000, or is it 10,000? Yeah, 10,794. Price low and price high. Okay, so that's that done. That's question 14 and 15 completed. Right, let's look at the next question. Sort the data into ascending alphabetical order of metal name. Okay. Okay, so what we need to do now is to highlight these rows here, and then if we go to home and click on A to Z, we want to sort by the metal name. Okay, so it's alphabetical order and it's going to be ascending, so that's going to be A to Z. So let's click on column 1, and we want to make it ascending, so it's going to be in alphabetical order. Yeah, so now that's all changed. Okay, now we have to format a table, so format the first row, so format the first row of the table so it is center lined over the 5 columns. So what that means is we have to merge these columns together. So if you just highlight across, I know it's not highlighting any cells, but if you right click your mouse, we can merge the cells. Okay, doesn't matter if it's come on this line for now. Let's just sort that out later. The text will be sans serif 14 and the color will be white. Okay, before I change that, actually, let's see the next option, or the last option is the first row will be black. So if I make this black, okay, then if I highlight the text needs to be center lined. So let's first of all make it center aligned. It's going to be white 14 and sans serif. So let's make this into Arial. Okay, the size will be 14. So sans serif is 14, center lined, and the color of the text will be white. Okay, that's that done. So text is center lined, that's been done. Last thing is the text needs to be bold and italic. And that's that first row done. We highlight the text. Let's make it bold and let's make it italic, or bold. Okay, and italic. Okay, just before I move on, I'm going to increase the size of the table so it fits within the columns, as you can see here. So now it fits within. What you don't want, actually I think that fits in now. You don't want the table spilling out the column, so it needs to fit within the column. Okay, so what's next? Make sure, the table fits within a column. That's what I've just done. The table style is applied to rows 2 to 8. So 1, that's the second row, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. So we need to basically highlight this text and apply the table style. Okay, can you see this is still bold? So what I'm going to do is click on clear and then click on the table style again. Okay, so all of the text is now formatted accordingly. The text in each cell does not wrap, so what you don't want is text. You can see here price low is being wrapped, so we can increase the size of this column so now the text is not wrapping. Okay, all borders and grid lines are displayed when printing, so we can see the borders, so I don't need to change anything. So that's 18, question 18 done. Okay, now we need to import the logo image and place this below the subheading. So I think this was the first subheading. Let me just go up and find it. Yeah, so what we need to do is click just below the subheading. Sometimes they do give you a picture, so this is a subheading and they want the picture to be left aligned at the top of the paragraph. So let's insert a picture first of all. So let's go to insert, pictures. Okay, so then we need to select the logo picture. So make sure you go to your source folder and select the file. Okay, so what do we need to do next? We need to resize the picture so it's 3.5 centimeters wide, maintaining the aspect ratio. So what we can do, we can click on the picture, come up to the top right, and we can change the settings here. So when I change this dimension, the height automatically changes to maintain the aspect ratio. What you don't want to do is squash the picture like this. So let me press Ctrl Z. Let me just type in actually 3.5, be quicker for typing a number. Okay, and you'll see the height has also changed, maintaining the proportions of the picture. Right, the next thing we need to do is we need to make sure it's aligned to the left margin at the top of the paragraph. Okay, starting the first part off. Okay, and we need to make sure the text wraps around the image. So we can either click on this option here, or you can go to format wrap text and select tight. Okay, so the picture has to be at the top of the paragraph. Can you see that line? So that line tells me that it's lined at the top. Okay, right, so we've done we've inserted the picture, we've formatted the picture, and we've come to the end. So we need to now spell check and proofread the document. So to spell check the documents, you can go to review, click on check document. So we've got 2 spelling mistakes. Let's see. I think that's the name, so we can skip that one. So ignore once. And again, it looks like it's some sort of spelling mistake or name. So if it's a name, we can ignore them too. Okay, so ignore. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So what we need to check before we print, tables and lists are not split over 2 columns or pages. So let me zoom all the way out. It'd be easy to see. So we've got the list which is on this column here, and then this table is not split now over 2 columns. It appears in 1 column. Happy with that. There's no widows or orphans, so that's basically you don't want to have headings at the bottom of the page by themselves. So yep, I'm happy with that. What you can do, you can basically move this. If I press Control Enter, actually no, let's just keep it as it was. Makes no sense. So that's fine, actually, we can leave that. There's no blank pages. Nope, that's fine. The house style specification has been followed. Yep, I've been doing that as I've been going along. Spacing between all items is consistent. So what you don't want is like, if I was to click here and you had a big space there, you don't want inconsistent spacing. So spacing has to be consistent. Let me just zoom in. I just want to make sure I'm not messed that up now. Yeah, so you want to have a look at your document to see all spacing is consistent. So I think there's a 6-point space after each paragraph. Okay, actually, let me double check again. Was it 6 points after body? No, so the space after each paragraph was 12 points. Let me just double check if that's the case. So if we modify the body, yeah, actually I can see here, so after, yep, it's 12 spaces. After each subheading, it should be 6 points. So yep, there's a 6-point space after each subheading. Okay, so it looks like we've done the word part of this exam. Let me just scroll down. Save the document using the same file name and then print the document. So we can press save, and again, before we print, look at the print preview, check to see the formatting, check to see if your head and footer appears in the right place, the file name and file path is right aligned in the footer, you've got page numbers. Check the formatting of the table. This is where a lot of people have lost marks in the past because they've not checked the formatting of the table. So we can see the top rows have been merged across all 5 columns. The color of the text and the background has been changed, and the formatting to the text has been applied. The formatting to the row 2 to 8 has been also applied, and there's no text that's wrapping. So this is now good to be printed. So if in the exam you do print out and then later on you realize there's a mistake, you can always print again. So you should be always checking your printouts during the exam. Right, we've completed the word section. So thank you for your time. Hopefully in the next video I will be completing a database section from this paper. Please like and share this video, and please show your support to your channel and subscribe below. Thanks again for your time.